Hey girl, hey.
Hey. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Welcome to the Meetup Talk Show. Listen, it's Thursday, y'all. I get so excited about Thursdays. I'm so excited to be with you guys. Anybody that's just tuning in with us, we are the Meetup Talk Show. I am Julia, and that is my host, Rhea.
Hi.
Ain't she beautiful? And we're the hosts. We're the host of the Meetup Talk Show. We're so excited for you guys to tune in this week. Understand that we are here, listen, every Thursday. Every Thursday, we are here streaming live, 6 Central Standard Time and 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Memphis. Rhea is in Jersey. Listen, we're coming together every week to meet up. You can follow us on Instagram. It's the Meetup as well as we're also streaming live. Well, we're actually streaming live from Facebook and YouTube right now. So thank y'all for being a part tonight.
Yes. So, if you are new here or if you're not, you know the housekeeping rules. If you don't, we have housekeeping rules. So, the first thing is don't keep tonight to yourself. We want you to tell a neighbor, tell a friend. I met these two beautiful, strong, black, awesome, educated. All right, I'm sorry. I'm at these bomb females, or I know these bomb females hosting this meetup show every week, and they're on Facebook and Instagram. And I think I mean, not Instagram, not yet. Facebook and YouTube, and I think it's something that you should check out. So tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell people at your church during Sunday announcements. Two is interact with us in the comments. We talk back. Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you have to say based on, what we're talking about or the topic of the day. And the last thing is grab your favorite snack or beverage and enjoy. But I want to add one thing for today. I want to add get a notepad because today you're going to need to take notes. So
Come on. Come on. Awesome. Like we told you guys, listen, don't keep tonight to yourself, but we also want to be very clear on what our demographic is, who we trying to like pull in, listen, be a part of our community. And so we like to play a game called Tag Them In. Every week we're going to play it until y'all start tagging the folks in. So just to let you guys know, here at the Meetup in this community, we are looking for women or males ages 25 to 40. So if you know any, go ahead and tag them in the comments right now. Dads or moms, listen, tag them in the comments. Married or single, tag them in the comments, y'all. If they're a boss, an entrepreneur in leadership or desire to be in leadership, we need you to go ahead and tag them in. Listen, whether they're introvert or extrovert. So basically, whether you're letting us know that you're a part of this show and you're interacting with us in the comments, or if you're just watching us, listen, we want you to know that you can be a part of this community as well. Anybody that's looking for a tribe, listen, you don't have to be on an island by yourself. You don't have to mom, you don't have to dad by yourself. Listen, you got a whole crew here ready for you guys, as well as somebody that's looking for a safe space. Listen, because I'm gonna be completely honest. Me and Rhea, we vent. Listen, we let y'all know the real, the real stuff. When we are talking about our topic, very honest, because we want to be able to have a safe space where people can feel free to express themselves, don't be judged. And so that's what we're doing. So listen, if anybody falls in guidelines, we need you to go ahead and tag them in the comments below, as well as in our comment area. We want to also just go ahead and let us know who you are and where you're from, so we can hype you up as well.
I'm going to go ahead and tag some people in.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, girl. Tag a memory.
I will call some people to the call. What did it say? Call them to the pulpit. Call them to the
to the
comments.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. So I have to be really careful with clicking because this thing is very like sensitive. So that's the only
Mhm.
reason why I'm clicking real slow for y'all tonight.
Mhm.
But tonight we are really excited because we do have a special guest, and we actually have somebody that's going to be a part of our check-in tonight, and that is Gwen Cook. Because listen, we need to check in on our guests as well. So we about to bring Gwen up to be a part of our check-in, y'all. Whoop whoop. Hey Gwen, welcome to the
Hey,
meetup.
hey. Oh, I feel so special.
So if you don't recall, this kind of happened based off of, us checking in and talking. What was that? Episode 8,
Mhm.
Julia. And so we promised that we would bring someone in to chat with us about things we don't know about, and life insurance is one of those things. So we delivered on our promise.
Yep. So, like Rhea like to say every week, this is the segment of the show where we check in on our strong friend. And so, do you want to start with the check-in part?
Yeah, well, we, like you said, like I say, we like to check in on our strong friends. So we allow this space for the show to check in, just see how we're all doing. You can check in the comments. I'll go first. I don't have much to say. When I don't have much to say, I usually say I'm just happy to be here. So yeah, just for today, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that Gwen is with us, um, to talk about things that I want to know more about. And I'm tired of getting frustrated about, because I'm not fully informed on them. And I'm sure that if I'm feeling this way, there's other people that feel this way too. You hear get life insurance, and you just don't know where to even begin. So, like I said, I'm happy Gwen is here to talk with us about that.
I'm sorry, guys, my phone was ringing. My check-in this week has been pretty good. And so today I actually had an interview, y'all. And it was funny because like I actually wasn't like really enthused about the interview at first because I was like okay, August the 8th will make 1 year of fully being like full-time entrepreneurship, like really making it through and all that. So mhm. So like so I was like, okay, I know I need to get stuff caught up. I need to do what I gotta do, y'all. And so, like when I saw the position, I saw that it was only commission. Well, I thought it was only commission based. So I was kind of like, I'm already commission based. So I'm kind of like, what is this? But I kept feeling like God was literally telling me, like, girl, just go ahead. And so when I got there, um, I found out that I would be like a leasing consultant for a new complex that's coming up. And with the position, it is commission, but there is a set pay, which actually would work. It kind of goes along with what I was services that I was going to offer anyway to people. Um, but the key thing was that it allows me to still do real estate and still like assist my broker and still do all the things that I want to do. It's just a little more demanding than I would want. But so I did get extended the offer, y'all. So so we'll see. I still have to fill out the paperwork and do and do the other stuff. So I'm trying to just kind of wait it out. Don't just fill it out today just because it all happened today. I'm trying to like process it, sleep on it, and then we'll see what my decision is next week. So that's my check-in.
Well,
All right.
congratulations for
Oh,
extended offer.
thank you. Thank you. Listen, it was good to hear. Yes, I will say that because hearing a whole bunch of no's, like hearing a yes was pretty good. So yeah. So Gwen, we're checking in on you. How you doing over there?
I am doing good. I was feeling a little bad. I see Shamika said, hey, Shamika. I don't know how to do the comments. I didn't see it was, I don't think I have comments enabled or something. Yeah, so y'all left
Okay,
me
I'm
out.
gonna pull them up.
Look, and y'all left me out,
I'm gonna pull them up.
with the others that said get a drink. I was like, man, it said your favorite beverage. I would have had mine here. So I didn't have mine. So now, so I'll just have next time I'll know to have my favorite beverage. But I'm doing well. I broke my leg back in May.
Oh.
And so I've been on a scooter. And so last week I started walking. And today I went to physical therapy, and man, she wore me out. So I'm a little tired and a little sore, but I am absolutely ecstatic about being here. And I don't take it lightly when people invite me to speak, because you have charge over the people that you usher into your show. And so I appreciate that so much. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you. We are so excited to have you on with us, as well as, listen, we are excited about your healing. Come on, leg.
Yeah. I know, right?
Right.
No
more scooter.
Yeah, you got some time in the summer off your scooter.
You know what? And what's so crazy? I was riding a scooter, but I broke it on the scooter. So on those bird scooters. So do not try to go. So lesson learned: do not try to go over a speed bump on a scooter. It doesn't work.
I love it. And hey, Shamika, listen, we're so excited to have you. Shamika is actually the reason why Gwen is here, because I met Gwen through Shamika. So we appreciate you, Shamika, and everything that you do. So thank you, girl. And thank you for congratulating me too on it. Hey, Peggy, welcome to the Meetup, Peggy. And so, yeah, so let's get into this topic, y'all, on tonight.
Look at Gwen.
And I talk. I mean, fine.
I mean, blunt picture.
I said, oh, they gonna think I'm a stalker. I'm good for stalking people's pages and putting.
Yeah, she's good digging in the archives. I'm like, wait, where you get that picture from?
But yeah, I mean, all the way fine on here. But yeah, so we're gonna get into our topic on tonight, and that is Let's Talk Insurance with Gwen Cook. And so before we get to the topic and we move the screens around and everything, I'm just going to give you guys a little bio so you'll know who's in front of you. I mean, whole credentials out here. She's nothing to play with. Listen. All right. So Gwendolyn Cook, she is a mortgage loan originator, registered principal. Since 1997, Gwen's mission has been to help families become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. She uses proven strategies to assist families in planning for their financial future. Gwen holds current state and federal licenses in life insurance, investments, and loan origination. From protecting personal assets with life insurance to purchasing that dream home, she is fully equipped to help families achieve all their financial goals. I mean, fully equipped. And so we thank you and we welcome you to our show today. And as we talk about our topic on life insurance.
All right. So am I ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
You are good to go.
I am good to go. Like I said, thank you again. So many people call it, life insurance. And I should have told you guys, we like to call it income replacement, because so many times, people think about life insurance, but life insurance is to replace an income. I like to think about and give you a visual. When you think about a family, and just say that their expenses are $3,000 a month. And so the husband brings in $1,500 and the wife brings in $1,500, and suddenly the husband passes away. So those expenses still stayed the same, right? They still got the mortgage. The kids are still doing their activities. So life insurance steps in to replace that $1,500 that they lost. Does that make sense? And I know, you guys can say in the chat, yes, and, because I like to feed off of chats, and then our host can just shake their head, so I know they listening too. So we really, you think about replacing that income. And so that kind of goes to then how much do I need? We sit down, we talk to our clients, and they say, you know what, I understand that I need life insurance, but how much do I need? Have you guys ever thought about that? Because y'all heard people say, well, I just need $50,000 or I just need $100,000. Well, when you think about that, how much do you owe on your house? How many times have you seen people that they passed away and then shortly thereafter their family loses their home? So we use something that we call a dime. And I know Rhea told y'all to take notes, so you can write that down, DIME. So when you sit down with your life insurance agent and they say, well, how much life insurance do you need? How you're going to really sound, like what you're talking about. You say, well, let's look at the dime. Let's see. What is my debt? That's your D. How much debt do I have? Because sometimes, when you die, you have, especially if you have that car that's in your name and your husband's name, they still responsible for that car because it's still in their name. So what is the debt that you have? And when you look at the debt, you also want to include like the funeral cost in that, right? So funeral cost is what, about 15,000? That's kind of what we go with, 15,000. Some people say they could do it less, some is more, but in average is 15,000. Income, that's what the I is for. How much of your income does your family need? And so you kind of think about that. If your children are in football, my girls cheered. Y'all know cheering is expensive. They did that competitive cheer. We was traveling, and honestly, if I had passed away, when my children were young, I would have wanted them to continue to do the activities that they were already doing. Mm-hmm. So you want to look at income. How much of your income does your family need, and for how long? So if your youngest child is 13, you want to think about at least 5 more years, because then they turn 18. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Also, I had a client once that talked about, we said, well, how much would your wife need? He said, well, we said, if your wife died, how much would you need? He said, well, nothing, because I take care of all the bills. I said, well, what does she do? He said, well, she keeps the kids. She's a stay-at-home mom.
Now you need a nanny.
I said, so, well, if she passed, who's going to take care of the kids? And he said, oh, you're right, because you need money. So although her income, wasn't in a check form, she was really bringing it in because she was taking care of the kids. She was that stay-at-home mom. M, what does the M mean? It's the mortgage. You want to take care of that mortgage. You don't want your family to have to worry about how they're going to take care of this home. That is one of the biggest purchases a person makes, a family makes. And oftentimes they make it off of the 2 salaries. Mm-hmm. So they're not, Rocket Mortgage is not going to say, you know what, you don't have to pay this $1,200. That half is gone, just give me $600. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you want to make sure that you include that mortgage, so they don't have to worry about it. Pay off the mortgage. And E is for education. So how do you want to pay for your children's education should you die? And some people say no, and that's okay. And so you just don't include it, but that is your DIME. When you look at that, that's how you tell how much life insurance you need. And I tell my clients all the time, that when we do this exercise, you may end up saying, oh, I need way too much and I don't have the funds for that. But that's okay, because then you can then get as close to your amount of insurance that you need. Because guess what we like to say? Oatmeal is better than no meal, right? But at least you know how much you should have to be properly protected. And then you just work your way up to getting there, right? Does that make sense, y'all?
Yes.
Did y'all learn anything right there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So now I have a question. What are two of the main factors that people look when we talk about insurance? We say, oh, it costs too much. It costs too much. What do we look at? Two things. Okay. Health and age.
In terms
you hear people
say,
right, because when we get old and then we say we want life insurance, it's gonna be high. It's gonna be high. I mean, let's just face it. See, I'm not even recommending getting y'all a group because I'm over 40. So, my age wasn't on there. And when I checked in, I should have said something about that too, because I feel, oh gosh. But when you get to be, older, you get to be my age, you start talking about you want life insurance, you're gonna pay more money. And let's just be realistic, life insurance companies, they don't want you to die. So they want you healthy. They want you healthy. And so, you want to get life insurance when you're young. It's cheap. It's very cheap. And when you're healthy, before you start having health problems. Oh, somebody over there said, Nicole, see, she over 42. Girl, they're going to kick us out the group. They're going to kick us out.
You're welcome.
So does that make sense, you guys?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was trying to think of some questions that people kind of, normally ask me. Types of insurance, so you have term, and, so most people have heard of term, and a lot of people hear about whole life, and they say whole life, because you covered your whole life. And I'm not going to knock any, I'm just going to kind of tell you, my opinions of them. I don't think you need life insurance your whole life. You need life insurance for a period of your life. When your oldest child, becomes, the average age says 22, 23, where you've paid off your mortgages, you paid off, you've gotten your kids through school. Most of the time they've gotten through college. You no longer have bills. You saved up your money for retirement, because if you save up money for retirement and you die, you have to have a beneficiary. So if you leave, you die, then your kids bury you, if you become properly insured. And so I always have to tell this example, because I have this really good friend. He makes really good money. And I didn't sell him any life insurance because he is what I told him. He was self-insured. He owns a few houses. He also has some investment accounts with me. And I said to him, if you die, who's going to be the beneficiaries for your investment accounts? He said, my kids. I said, well, do you think they would take some of that money and bury you? He was like, yeah. Then you don't need life insurance. You're okay. However, it takes us a while to get there. I have life insurance. I'm not fully insured. I haven't saved enough in my retirement for the rest of my retirement, right? I still have some bills to pay, so you want to make sure that you have life insurance until you become financially secure and you can pay for your funeral with your own funds. Because as you get older and you get ready to retire, you think about it, you got this life insurance policy, you want to travel, you want to do some things, you can use your retirement with that. Because you no longer have your mortgage, you no longer have the children to take care of. So anyway, that's kind of what term insurance is. So I said all that to say the term of your life. And normally term insurance is about 30 years. So within 30 years, you should have saved your money, also, put up for your retirement and be ready to retire. The flip side of that, and a lot of people talk about it, is whole life insurance. And so whole life insurance, basically, when you pay your premium, what happens is, just for an example, just say you have $100 premium, 50 may go towards your face value and 50 may go towards your savings. And so what happens is you have your savings and your life insurance intertwined together. So you have your whole life insurance. And so in about 2 to 3 years, you start to build up savings within your life insurance policy. So if you want to borrow money against that policy, you can do that. However, you have to pay it back. You have to pay it back with interest, right? Interest and fees. So what happens if you don't pay it back? Well, then what happens is, should you pass, then the insurance company, they would just simply take their money back that they loaned you, as well as the interest and fees. So if you had $100,000 policy and you borrowed $10,000 off of it, then they're going to take that back. Does that make sense? So you'll get about 80 some thousand dollars, where your family get about 80 some thousand dollars, for the life benefit. The other part of that is, if you had, just say you have $100,000 policy and you have $10,000 built up in the savings. Well, what happens is, if you take that full $10,000, then you've done what the insurance calls surrendered your policy. So then you no longer have that policy anymore. So that's kind of what, the whole life policy is. So the difference is, term is usually really cheap. Whole life costs a little bit more money, and it's because you're getting those benefits. Somebody, and I think it may have been Shamika, has sent me a video one time about, whole life. And they say, well, a lot of rich people are, use whole life policies. And they do, 1%ers use whole life policies a lot, but they don't really use it for the life insurance benefit. They use it to shelter the money. So because it works a lot like a Roth IRA, because once the gains on it, you don't have to pay taxes on it. And they're looking at, the probate and all of that, because it's in an insurance policy. So they have different reasons, and theirs is really not for the life insurance portion of it. It is to shelter the money. So what questions do we have? Oh, I must have been real good. I don't have no questions.
I had a question. I know I remember, like, when I got my first job and everything, I got life insurance through the job. I thought that was like all I needed. But could you kind of like explain that portion of it, like, having insurance with your job, or is it
Thank you. I should have wrote that down. So I missed that. So that is group life insurance, and it's really cheap. And I don't knock it. I tell my clients all the time, absolutely get it, because you either getting it for free or you getting it for pennies on the dollar, right? However, have you ever seen that policy?
No, I haven't.
No, you've never seen that group policy, because it's not yours.
Okay.
It's not yours. It is the company's policy. And so they can change it up and do whatever they want to with it. And one of the things you look at is, in those lines, you have to be actively working. So during COVID, a lot of people that were laid off, they had no coverage because they were not actively working. And so you always want to have life insurance outside your job, because should you leave that job, you've left your life insurance policy. You've left your life insurance, and what happens if you get sick while you at that job? Years ago, there was a young lady, we had talked to her, she and her mom, about life insurance. And I'm trying to remember the name of that Clio Rap. So see, I know you guys probably never heard of, but there was a company here called Clio Rap, and they went out of business. And so this lady, she was like, no, I have insurance at my job. I've been here for years. I've been here, so I don't need any. Well, she had been there for years, and over the time, she ended up getting sick. And then the company went out of business. She no longer had life insurance through the group, and she couldn't get it because she had a medical condition. So you always want to make sure that you have it outside your job. It's never enough just with your job.
I have a question. So,
Yes.
say you have life insurance, or say you just have multiple policies, or you have like a mixture of all policies, which, in the event of someone's death, which would be a primary, the one you had the longest?
No, see, and that just depends on, like the company, because you talking about like you might have one with Allstate, you may have one with Farmers, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or I might
They're
have
gonna all pay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a primary. They're gonna all pay as long as you've been paying your premium.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna pay.
Okay, so it just come to you or your family, and you disperse it how it's, or whatever beneficiary like that.
Correct. And your will, you definitely want to have a will as well.
Okay.
Because you think about, like, if you don't put you can put your life insurance like in a trust for children that are under 18, and you can say, this is what you want to do, this is what I want them to do, and with the trust that works. But even when we do like the dime, that we just talked about, that just tells you about the amount of life insurance that you need. However, that doesn't say that your husband has to pay the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have your will, to make sure that they do with it what you want.
Yeah. Ivana Trump didn't have a will, because I'm sure she didn't want to be buried at a golf course.
Right. Or she didn't have, she probably didn't have a will, or I don't know, the funds, I mean, we say she got money, but did she really? Did she have access to it?
Yeah.
Right.
So no questions, huh?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the conversation came up. So all of a sudden I just start like panicking about life, about like a few, like I keep calling it my big age. At my big age, I just been feeling like I need my things in order. I hope it's not on, I hope it's not, my time isn't anytime soon, but we
Right.
don't know. But I'm just like, I need my
Right.
stuff in order. I have life insurance, but I have whole life insurance, and I like the benefits of both. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just get me, a term policy as well, just to have access to the benefits of having a term policy too. And you said, so, I'm not term. Yeah, term policy is for a term of your life, right? So
It's for
what is that? What is that term? Like, is there a
yeah.
age,
So
like,
yeah. So if you listen to Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, they kind of say it best. Like, you need it for, because it's income replacement. So the term is, normally it is a 30-year term, but you may not need it for a 30-year term. But when we say you need it for a term of your life, it is when your oldest child turns 22, 23.
Okay.
Because by then you've put them through college. You probably paid off all your bills, probably don't have a mortgage anymore. And so you no longer need as much life insurance. What we do is, we kind of look and talk to clients about how much, because it is to replace your income, if that is your goal. But, you can say, people say, I want to leave my family, money. And so if you want to leave them a legacy, then you can definitely increase it at that point as well. But ideally, when we say a term of your life, it is when you become self-insured. You no longer have as many bills. You don't have to take care of your kids. Your kids can take care of themselves. We kind of go through it. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. We decrease the amount of life insurance you need, because we look at it and just looking at it like that, the dime, the mortgage. So just say that you've just gotten married and where you just bought a house and you have, it's a 15-year term. Well, then you may only need, and that house is going to be paid off in 15 years. So what we'll do is we will decrease your term in 15 years to take off the house. Then not only does your premium go down, but you don't need as much life insurance because now that debt is paid.
Okay. We just had a question, and I kind of feel like you was touching on it a little bit, so that's why I put the question up there. She said, "Any information on mortgage life insurance?" I don't.
Yeah, yeah. So you can put that mortgage life insurance. So sometimes they have it on. Companies will put it in there when you buy your house. So should something happen to you, then the house is paid off. So that's what the mortgage life insurance is. So if somebody dies, then it pays the house off. Or what I always tell people is if you have just a regular policy and you include it in there, there's really no need to have both. But then your family. Like I was just telling you, it may be we include this in how much life insurance you need, but you may know that they're not going to take care of it, or you want to make sure that this money goes towards this house, but it's not going to be any additional, if that makes sense. So if you only owe $100,000 on the house, then that's what's going to pay. If you owe 200, that's what's going to pay. But as it goes down, if you only owe 50,000, that's what's going to pay off. And so they won't have any extra or anything like that. Like with the regular policy, they take, you got a $100,000 policy, you owe 50,000, you pay the 50,000, you have 50,000 to do whatever else you want to do with. It doesn't work like with the mortgage insurance.
Okay. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought like mortgage life insurance is like, well, paying off your mortgage when someone passed. I thought it was always like a rider, like in addition to. So it can be either or. You can have a separate mortgage life policy, and then you can have a policy.
Regular.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. How do you get a will made? Lawyers do that. We actually have with our company, we help people with prepaid legal. So they not only have access to a lawyer to do any of their other, on call to do anything, fill out paperwork, go to court for them, things like that. But they also do a will. So usually you get one with any lawyer, but I believe some banks do wills too, don't they? Do y'all know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so yeah, I know for us we work with the lawyers, but I believe they do have some. Mm-hmm.
Yes, there will be a replay, Sasha.
Typically, is there a waiting period before coverage goes into effect? So I can't speak for all companies, and I do know like some of them on TV, they have it like they'll say you don't have to take any tests, anything like that. But if you read the fine print, they say that you cannot die within 2 years. So it is. If when y'all hadn't paid attention to it now, when you see that commercial, you're gonna say it because it's like the lady that says, we're gonna get this. She and her husband are in like the kitchen or something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so with those, they did say on there's in the fine print, it says you can't die within 2 years or anything. But typically for regular insurance, like with our life insurance, if you get your life insurance today and you pay a premium, if you've been honest on your policy, then the company will pay if you walk out the door and die right then, even before you get the actual paper policy, if you were being truthful. Now, there is the waiting period. So what doesn't count is if you committed suicide. No insurance company is going to do that. That is 2 years. So that's and that's pretty much across the board. If you commit suicide, the insurance companies are not going to pay it within the first 2 years. After that, it would. If it was something like tobacco, you would be covered. But if you died within 2 years of something that was related to tobacco use and you said that you were not a tobacco user, then they would not pay. They would pay you all your premiums back. So they just, your family would get all the premiums that you paid. That's what they would get back. They wouldn't pay out on the life insurance policy. But I always tell people, as long as you're being totally honest on your answers, you don't have anything to worry about. Did I answer that question, Miss Peggy? How many copies of a will should exist outside the lawyer? And who should get those? You know, I don't have an answer for that. As far as how many copies, because I think that's going to depend on you, you know, to put that up. Like we have, I wish I had it here, but we have like a little book that we give our clients that has all the information, policy numbers, bank accounts. If you, wherever your will is, like where would you find it if it wasn't in that lockbox? So I can't say how many copies you would need, because that depends on how many you want to give to, you know, in your family. Some people may want to give it to their husband, some to their mom, dad, you know, their sisters, brothers. So that kind of depends on you. There isn't a set number on how many copies you need.
And Peggy said, she said yes, that you did answer her question.
Okay. Awesome.
But I feel like we got a whole lot of great information. Listen, I appreciate it. It helps me because, baby, I mean, you are actually my person that I get my life insurance, like you, person that walked me through receiving my life insurance, and even in this process of me, you know, full-time entrepreneurship. You know, I had actually lapsed out. And I remember calling you and I'm like, I just gotta feel like I start having dreams about it and everything. Like, no, you need to get life insurance. Like, you need to get that policy back, sis, no matter what. Like, and so I went on and got my policy back. But I just remember, like, no matter what, you know, I just know two things that I need to make sure I keep right now, especially with having younger kids. And that is my life insurance and even IRA. And I was just thinking about that. I know I don't put a lot into it right now, but listen, something is better than nothing. So, so I was like, you know,
remember, I told you oatmeal is better than no meal.
Exactly. I got that on top of my head.
Yep. And I was just like, you know, no matter where I'm in life, when I'm learning, I guess since like the pandemic, it kind of helped shape how I see life and stuff like that, because of the fact of like always working for somebody and always having like pretty good positions in these different places. Like you kind of lose sight of like things can change like that. Like, you know, and you just be thinking like, oh, you're just gonna go from one high to the next high to the next high to the next high. And it's just like, no, like life really happens out here for us. So it's like understanding that no matter what life does, make sure that you are covered the best way that you can be covered. You know, I think one of the things Rhea was saying when we had our episode 8, she was just like, I just feel like I'm behind. And I was telling her, like, nah, baby, just start. Because at the end of the day, having some years is better than having no years or trying to start later on. So it's like just learning like that. I think we kind of get into our own way at times, because that's kind of like what the culture does for us. It makes us think like we got to get this money fast, we got to do this, you know, and all that. But just make it okay.
You know, and it was odd to say, because life does happen. You know, when the pandemic hit, it was so many people, you know, like I said, they were no longer covered because they weren't working, you know, at their job. You know, in most jobs, if you're not actively working, your group policy does not cover you. But, you know, we had people that, you know, they came out and it's like, I need, you know, they got COVID, you know, and they was like, I need life insurance. You know, I just didn't realize that life could happen like this. Then they saw so many people die that wasn't covered, you know, because this is, you know, you just don't think, you know, you're going to be, you know, 20 years old and die, 20 years old, or have a child, you know, that dies. So definitely, you know, getting coverage, and, you know, even if it's a small policy, you know, you want to make sure that you're covered outside your job, so you can keep that policy. You know, I just, you know, and I think you know this, but like my daughter, she is 20, she's 24. My daughter's 24, and she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 7. So, but she's always had, I mean, I'm an insurance agent, you know, so she's always had, she was on my child rider. Well, you know, it's no way when she turned, you know, get to be an adult that she could have gotten life insurance. No decent policy at a decent price, you know. So when she turned 25, she was able to get just automatically get $125,000 policy without any medical condition. So it was no contestability period, no nothing. She didn't have to do anything, you know, just start paying like I think $24 a month, you know, and she has her policy, you know. And people just, you know, don't think about those things, you know. Years ago, you know, I in 2019, I had cancer, and you know, I've always had, it's no way that anybody would insure me. You know, I have a lot of life ahead of me, but I wouldn't be able to get any life insurance if I didn't already have life insurance. If I was dependent on a group policy or anything like that, I never would be able to get it. But I have life insurance because I already had it when I was healthy.
Yeah.
And so,
Awesome.
you know, we just need to, you know, kind of think about those things.
Yeah, it became like a urgent top of the list thing for me. I like lost a baby in 2019. She passed away when she was 2 months old. So I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? But my husband, he had his term policy in which she's automatically a rider on.
Yep.
And I was grateful and thankful for that because he didn't know. He just went to see what his options were, you know, with his insurance. But then I was like, well, first of all, my living kids need life insurance, whether I felt like on a rider or not, like they need policies. And then I need to make sure that I have coverage outside and then, you know, he has it, but I need to have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it became an urgent thing for me. We're in the years of GoFundMe, and I would dread that
right
for my family.
Right. GoFundMe and T-shirts, you know, we did. I did not know, you know, we did this church, they have what they call it, dang it, they call it financial revival. And so we were doing some workshops there, and there was another insurance guy. He actually did burial insurance. He worked for a funeral home, and he was up talking, and he was, you know, just kind of talking about insurance. And he made the comment, he said, you know, we do not, you know, bury people. He said, you know, we've had people sitting in our funeral home, you know, for a couple of weeks, you know, while they raise money. And he said, you know, you guys talk about the GoFundMe. He said, have you seen the T-shirts? And it was like, no, you know, and everybody in the church, they was like, yeah. Well, he said that people were selling T-shirts to raise money. And so, and they were saying that that's kind of how they kind of got started. People was wearing the T-shirts to the funerals and stuff, but they were selling the T-shirts to actually offset the cost of the funeral. And
I never knew that. I knew people always have like the T-shirts, but I didn't know that they were doing it to offset the funeral.
And let me say this, it may not be everybody, but when he gave that example, that was based, you know, he did say that happened with them. Yeah.
So I just want to briefly go over what we talked about, my notes. So we base and jump in and correct me if I've got anything wrong, of course, Gwen. So we base the amount of coverage that we need based off of DIME, right? DIME is debt, income, mortgage, and education. The main policies we talked about were term and whole life insurance. Term is for a term of your life, about 30 years. And whole life insurance covers you during your whole life. They both have their pros and cons. You can kind of, you know, research them yourself. And then another main thing I got out is if you have group policy, like that would be through your employer, through your job. Even if you have that, you need your own policy outside of that. You need additional coverage. And the most important thing I got is oatmeal is better than no meal. So
Yes.
even if it's a little bit, it's best to have something than nothing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see another comment though. It says burial insurance. They've never heard of that. You know, they you can go to most funeral homes and they'll, you know, you can get a policy for burial insurance. You know, years ago, I know my grandmother did, and some more people, you know, they would go and just pay the funeral home, and it only covers like the burial and maybe the tombstone or something like that.
Is that something that, like, when people go get, some people reserve their plots ahead of time? Like, is
Yeah.
that
Yeah. You know, but I think, you know, if you look at, like Rhea said, the dime, and you have enough coverage, you know, that's your burial insurance right there. You know, you have 100,000, you take 15,000 to bury your loved one.
Okay. So, any more questions? What you got there?
All right. So basically, you know how you go to conferences and they be so good and you be feeling like, ooh, I'm going to get this stuff going. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then when you get home, you don't really apply what you use. So this last segment is just for us to think about, just making sure that we actually apply everything that we just learned tonight, especially that the stuff that we took notes on. I think for me, the main thing that I do want to focus on is dime always, like making sure like that, the debts are taken care of, making sure that my income, what all expenses I have, because I do have to think about, when I'm not here anymore, who's going to take care of those things, and making sure that my mortgage is already, my goal is paid in full, baby. I'm trying to get this mortgage paid in full. Before 30 years, listen, but if by chance that doesn't happen, making sure that I'm covered in that. And then also like my daughter's education and just understanding that piece of it. I liked how you broke down like with the term life insurance, and like you don't need it the whole term, especially if you get your stuff together. Listen, you already have it. You already have those things built up and already be able to leave your family wealth and all of those things. But I did also enjoy learning more about whole life insurance too. So that is something to think about too, just in terms of just, being, I guess, because it does, when I get to that place, I feel like, being able to have that piece that goes into save, and then kind of seeing it kind of like how the 1%ers see it, because I'm declaring that I will be a 1%er. But just seeing it in that way as well, and knowing that I can go that route. So yeah, so that's just something that I encourage you guys to do. Just make sure, whether you have it or not, or if you think that you need to get more, or because it was multiple things that we talked about, from the burial insurance to the mortgage insurance to the whole life to the term insurance, and I'm sure it's a whole bunch of other things that you get out there. Just make sure that you get covered.
Absolutely.
I gave a lot. All right, and
yes, we're coming to the end of our show, and as always, if you're not, you can follow us and find us at It's the Meetup on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow us if you're not.
I think we had our first troll tonight.
Yeah. Alpha Zero. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I started. While you was talking, Gwen, that's why I started laughing. I'm goofy, so like I can't hold it in, but I started laughing because first thing I know, I see this guy, and we like, who is this? And then next next thing I know, he's blocked. So that's why I was laughing.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it too.
And that's why I start laughing because I'm like, listen, that is too funny. I mean, come on, real with the blocking. All right.
You're welcome, Camellia.
Camellia said, "Thanks for this was so informative." She said, "I need whole life with a mutual company, and then I studied that. It was interesting."
Yes, you studied beer.
All right. So we're coming to the end of our show. Whoop, whoop. And so at the end of every show, listen, we celebrate over here. We want to celebrate you because you made it through your week. We appreciate you for coming on with us. We love you guys, and we want to let you know that you got a tribe over here that is constantly clapping it up for you, constantly cheering your achievements. So anything that you achieved this week, put it in the comments now so we can shout you out right now on the show.
Yeah.
My celebration is Gwen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on here again.
Of hopefully many.
Yes, first guest and killed it.
Yeah.
So yep, I'm so excited about that. So if you could put your accomplishments this week in the comments and just let you guys know that we are clapping it up for you guys. We are cheering for you guys. Peggy said also awesome information. Thank you, Queens. We thank you for coming on and supporting us this week as well. So listen, we clap it up for you guys just to let you guys know that we thank you for being here, a part of this show. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Whoop, whoop. Bye, y'all.
Bye.